Now, you were appointed, but how are members normally chosen?
Normally, assuming nobody leaves office early, either by retirement or taking a new job or death or whatever other reason, usually we elect our judges, which a lot of states do. We are one of the few who do it on a partisan ballot. You run as a Republican, as a Democrat.
Yes.
But if somebody leaves office early, for example, my predecessor who left office early, that enabled Governor Perry to appoint me to succeed her. So if there was a vacancy, the governor will appoint someone he believes is best equipped to fill the vacancy.
So you will be coming up for re-election in 2012?
Excellent point. I will be coming up for re-election in 2012, and the primary is March 6th. And of course, people can go to my website, which is .com, and they can go to my Facebook page, which is Justice Don Willett, and I even tweet periodically, and my Twitter feed is @JusticeWillett. But this is a brave new world of modern campaigning, and it's a little awkward for judges. We kind of fancy ourselves to be above the hurly-burly political fray, but for good or bad, we elect our judges in Texas, and I enjoy a lot of aspects of that. I enjoy meeting a very fascinating cross-section of people from every corner of Texas, because we inhabit, judges on my court, a pretty cloistered, contemplative, monastic, really nerdy life, frankly. And there's something beneficial.
The robes are somewhat like habits.
That's right, the robes and the powdered wigs. And we don't wear powdered wigs.
No.
But there's something beneficial about nudging us to really descend from that rarefied, isolated, almost bubble that we inhabit, and really have a neat occasion to intersect with a really neat cross-section of Texans. So there are a lot of aspects of campaign life I really thoroughly enjoy. And other parts I don't enjoy so much, like the relentless sort of fundraising that we have to do to run statewide. But people, they know very little often about who their judges are. They can probably name their American Idol judges from memory, all three of them. But they might have a hard time naming even one member of my court.
Well, I can definitely do that now.
I hope so. I hope your viewers can too.
I hope so too. Well, let's ask you the basic bottom line question here. Why Don Willett on the Texas Supreme Court? Why should people elect you to run on the Supreme Court for another 6 years?
Well, thank you. When I joined the court, every living former Chief Justice of my court, there were 4, really cheered and applauded the governor for picking me, saying I brought to the court probably the most varied and wide-ranging legal resume in recent memory. I think given my executive branch and other legal experience, I bring a very distinctive perspective to the court. I've earned a national reputation for scholarship, for impeccable conservative judicial philosophy. I think I'm widely, universally regarded as the most conservative member of my court, which is saying a lot. Every member of my court is Republican. That doesn't mean we're all like-minded. And around our conference table, things get very spirited and very feisty, always on substance, never in a pejorative or personal way. But we engage in very hurly-burly, rhetorical, combat and give and take, a lot of intellectual give and take. But I'm universally considered the most conservative member of my court. George Will, the Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist, wrote an article about me, a column, a few months ago, and essentially described me as the judicial antidote to Obamacare. He looked at my conservative judicial philosophy and said it provided an exquisite, kind of perfect judicial roadmap or blueprint for considering and striking down Obamacare. That's what he said.
You said this is coming up in March of 2012.
Correct. The primary election is March 6th. And then the general election in November.
Okay.
But I need to rally and muster as much support for my March primary election as I can.
And are you being chosen, be elected from statewide?
Correct.
Everybody will choose
Correct.
You? It's not just a district. It's not like a precinct here and a precinct there.
That's right. Supreme Court judges run in all 254 counties. And Texas is not Rhode Island, I've discovered, and and you have to zip around at warp speed across a very vast terrain. And, but I love meeting a really neat and really eclectic, diverse mix of people from every corner of our state.
Now, from a selfish standpoint, how often do you get over to Kerrville?
Not enough. My in-laws, of course, are here, and we try to get over here about every other month or so. And then they, of course, visit us in Austin to visit their 3 grandchildren.
Oh, that's great. Yes. And we will probably be seeing those grandchildren in just a while. The children of Tiffany and Don Willett. We'll bring them in a few seconds, and you'll be able to see the family. But let me ask you, back to your experience and your experiences over your life. What exciting things happened to you in Washington while you were there? Oh,
well, we were serving in the White House on September 11th. 2001.
Oh, wow. Yes.
And it was just a surreal day. And I remember watching on television the events unfold and having to evacuate the White House. I still see footage periodically of me and a friend of mine kind of sprinting away from the White House.
I remember seeing that one shot when the gates are open up and people are... You're one of those people running away?
I am, and they were telling the women to remove their shoes and just run away as fast as they could. There was still an unaccounted for plane that they thought might be headed for either the Capitol or the White House. So we were there on September. The following day, I began helping produce and put together the National Day of Remembrance at National Cathedral.
Well, wonderful. Congratulations on that. That does bring up something else I was reading about you. You worked on the PROTECT Act for 2003.
Right.
And also the expediting of U.S. citizenship for active duty immigrant service members.
That's right. I drafted a executive order for the president to sign to really expedite citizenship for immigrants who are serving in our military, who are helping protect our nation, who are waging the war on terror. These are people who are surrendering and risking all for a country they love. So this executive order sort of expedited American citizenship for those brave immigrant service members who have taken up arms and wearing our nation's uniform to protect America. And the PROTECT Act is one of those fancy Washington acronyms, but it's designed to protect children from child exploitation, child abduction, child pornography, really increasing penalties severely for those who would do harm to our children.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I tell you what, we're going to take a short break right now, and when we come back, we'll have the clan.
Fasten your seatbelts.
Fasten your seatbelts, indeed, and we'll bring on Tiffany and the children, and you'll get to meet the whole family there. So stay tuned to KVHC, and we'll be back in a few moments after these words from our sponsors. Welcome back to KVHC-TV. We're very pleased to have in the studio with us today Justice Don R. Willett of the Texas Supreme Court. He's telling us why we should be looking at the Republican primary and then in the general election coming up in November of next year. We're having a very, very enjoyable conversation with him here about his career and also why we choose Judge Willett. And now we'd like to present the whole family, the whole clan, the whole kit and caboodle. We have on the far end of the sofa his lovely wife Tiffany, now here for Thanksgiving, and with Grandma, who's in right there over in the back of the studio here behind the camera. And of course we're doing some wonderful advertising here. Keep Justice Willett for the Texas Supreme Court.
That's right.
Did you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving? Eat a lot of turkey?
Yeah.
Oh yes, all patting your tummies right now just because of all of the eating. You enjoy coming up here to Kerrville? Well, we're really glad that you're all joined with us here in the studio today, and I'm sure that we will have the opportunity to speak with you again before the primary and also before the election.
My campaign manager.
Yes, indeed. Well, we'd like to thank you all for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's my honor.
My pleasure as well to talk with you. Stay tuned to KVHC. We'll be hearing a lot more from Judge Willett over the months before the primary and then before the election in November of next year. But if you want to find out more about all of the interesting things going on KVHC, including Judge Willett, and we'll put a link to his website up on our place at kvhc.com on the web. So thank you for being with us. We're going to take another break right now, but stay tuned to KVHC for all of our wonderful programming. Thanks for being with us. Yay!
Very good job, buddies.
There we go.
Great job.
One.